All right, thanks for coming to tonight's talk, guys. It's our beginners workshop in Beginners Week. We've had 2 of these now. The last time it was fantastic. We had a couple of our beginners up, successful beginners, and we've got another one for you tonight. We've also got our lovely yoga instructor, Charlotte, to say a few words. But look, running, we all know it can give you a lot of benefits with your health. And that's physical benefits as well as mental. We know that there are a lot of mental, I don't need to say disorders, but there's a lot of people out there with depression and anxiety, and Alzheimer's is another one that they're saying that exercise, and especially cardiovascular exercise, can help prevent. A lot of people, especially beginners, are telling us that they want to lose weight, unsurprisingly, in this day and age. And running is fantastic at helping with that. Unlike a lot of cardiovascular exercise, such as swimming or rowing and cycling, running has impact. Okay, so that impact we often think of as negatively, because it can, that's what we think of causes the pains that we get when we run. But that impact also causes muscle damage, micro tears in our muscles, which need to be repaired by our body. Okay, and this is a good thing. Because it means that our body has to burn calories in order to repair that damage. Okay, so this is why people do strength training or weights training to lose weight. Okay, because they want their muscles to be damaged and then repaired. Okay, and when muscles are repaired, they come back stronger, they come back and they burn more fat. Okay, so they're not necessarily going to make you bigger and musclier, all right, but they are going to burn more fat. Okay, so I'm not saying you want to be broken, sore every time you work out, but running, because of the impact, causes more muscle damage than swimming, cycling, rowing, cross trainer, all that stuff. But running also gives you the cardiovascular benefits that weights training generally doesn't. Obviously, you're going to burn a lot more calories running continuously than you are if you're doing a weight session, because weights training is generally very stop and start. That impact that running involves can cause injury. Okay, often it'll just start with a niggling sort of pain around your ankle, knee, hip, sometimes back, can even be neck, and that's generally made worse because of the impact of running. We feel those pains more because there's the impact, the jolting, but the real cause of it is that we've allowed our muscles to get too tight, and therefore they started pulling on the joints, on their attachments, and that's what causes the pains. Now, there are other reasons that people struggle to get into running or succeed with running. Motivation's obviously a big one. If we don't feel like we're getting anywhere by ourselves, then often we can fall out of love of running, or just it never really catches on. A lot of people will try and do the Couch to 5K and just really struggle with it. And most of the time, a big part of that comes down to their pacing. Okay, so obviously when you're running with a group that has a set pace and hopefully a leader that keeps you at that set pace, they'll be holding you back in the first half of the run. If you've chosen the right group, then you'll be running at what you think is a really comfortable, easy speed, far easier than you'd ever do by yourself. But actually it's the right speed for you in order to survive the run and not end up hating it at the end. Whereas when we run by ourselves, often we start, we feel great, we think we're going at the correct speed, but it's actually too fast, and by halfway or at least 3/4 of the way in, we start to feel like we're just not actually made for running, and running's just a hard thing to do. Often a lot of people will go from running on a treadmill and being able to run for 20 minutes plus, but then they'll go outside and all of a sudden it's much harder. I found that a lot in the early days when we were setting up Cheltenham Running Club. I was talking to people who were running on treadmills, and they said, "Oh no, I can't run outside, it's much too hard." I don't know what it is, maybe it's the impact of the ground or something. I'm just like, no, when you run outside, there's nothing telling you how fast you're going, so you run too fast. On a treadmill, you've learned to push in this number and it makes you go at the correct speed. Hopefully you've chosen the correct speed. Another reason that people struggle with running is low energy levels. Okay, we go to work during the day and hopefully we're eating okay, hopefully we're not having lunch and then not eating till the evening, which is very common. You know, a lot of people aren't eating until they get home from work between lunch and dinner. Maybe they're having a coffee or something sugary at 3 o'clock. So when a lot of people have their slump during the day. So it's important to maintain your energy levels with good nutrition. Solutions. How can we make running something that you love doing and something that you want to do, you know, for the rest of your life? In terms of preventing injuries, you know, I've talked about the need to maintain length in your muscles. Okay, so stretching, rolling, you know, massage, rolling, foam roller. Some of you may not have seen them before. It's basically, we need to keep your muscles supple. Okay, yoga is a great one. We've just started the yoga class. So hopefully you'll get a chance to do that at some stage. We need to learn to pace ourselves. You know, if you're not running with the club, hopefully you've learned what pace group you're running with when you are going with the club, and then you can learn to pace yourself in your own time. We have GPS watches, which, you know, a decent but basic GPS watch from about £70 these days. They're just so worth the investment if you actually want to make running a long-term thing for you. There's no point saying, oh, I'll just test it out and I'll see if I like running and then I'll get it. I mean, you could do that, but if you're going to have to do a lot of running by yourself, then really you want to either borrow someone's or buy your own pretty quickly to make sure that you get used to running at the correct speeds. The whole injury thing, the best thing you can do if you find that there's a niggle that you know, is making you think twice about going out for your runs, is to get assessed. Okay, we have a physio in club. Katie's fantastic, and you know, the sooner that you can get assessed, so get your injury looked at, or even if it's just a niggle, you know, the easier it's going to be for her to treat you, the less chance you're actually going to have to go back and see her again. And you know, I even suggest if you don't have any problems but you're looking to get into running, which is a very abrasive sport, that you actually get an assessment done right off the bat. You know, she'll posturally assess you. Okay, so check that you're not sat at your desk with your head forward slouched, or that you're not locking your knees, you know, from day to day, which probably a few of you are right now. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on during the day when we work that leads us to basically have bad posture, and you know, Katie can help us identify that, but also she'll get you on a treadmill, video record your running, and tell you if there's anything which could be leading to, or which could potentially lead to injury in the future. You know, as your distances go up, if you've got something going on with your technique, then over time it will eventually become a problem unless you address it. Strength work is another underutilized strategy for preventing injury. Obviously we have our Strength for Runners sessions on Wednesday nights, but ideally you're all doing a bit of strength work outside of that session as well. You know, each time your foot lands, the muscles, you know, through your legs, hips, back, all the muscles that stop you from collapsing in a heap are required to contract. Okay, the heavier you are, the harder they have to contract. The longer you run for, the more often they have to contract. Okay, if you're doing strength work, which is requiring you to lower yourself carefully under load, so whether it's just your body weight or you are using some weights, it will improve your body's ability to land and catch your body weight. Okay, if you want to run faster, well, you push weights up, or you push your body weight up faster, and it'll improve your muscles' ability to contract and propel you forward while you run. Okay, so just more and more these days, you know, runners are learning that they need to complement their running with some strength work. The shoes are another one. Obviously shoe stores, that's the first place they would suggest you go, and that's the only thing they suggest. Oh, if you've got a niggle, let's get some new shoes. We do need to look at shoes. You know, if you've been running on your shoes, or you've been walking around in them for years, then chances are they have lost some of the technology that's gone into making them, you know, as expensive as they can get. And you know, the less cushioning there is, the more the technology in that shoe has failed, the more chance that the shoe is going to either stop providing the support that it was originally set up to provide, or else it's just going to be making you stick with a technique that is actually not very good for you. If you understand? So if you imagine if we're walking with and jogging with a flaw in our technique, then the shoe is actually supporting that. It's got used to that, and it's making your foot fall into those spots that maybe you shouldn't be. Okay. Whereas when you get a new pair of shoes, and especially if you've been told that you're collapsing inwards, or that you need to strengthen something up, that new pair of shoes is like wiping the slate clean. Okay. It's going to try and keep you nice. If you continue to run poorly with a new pair of shoes, it'll get bad again. But hopefully a new pair of shoes will, it can stop a lot of pains. All right. Now we've mentioned that muscles tug on their attachments when they get too strong and too tight, so maintaining flexibility is huge. Okay, it's really important, and which is why Katie suggested that we get a yoga class going. So we've found Charlotte, and she's going to help us out every Monday night. So we've got Charlotte to come and say a few words tonight about how yoga can help runners.
Okay, so I'm a runner myself. I signed up for the half marathon, so along with some of you guys, this is kind of my first time at a running club. But I've found that actually yoga has enhanced my running. There's many reasons for this. Running is a lateral movement of the muscles, and you're mainly just using the lower half of your body. Yoga is going to enhance this by using every single muscle in your body, even muscles that you probably didn't even realize that you had. And it's going to help strengthen the ones that you need for running, as well as strengthen other ones around those muscles. So, for example, we have a lot of standing poses within yoga, so the balance. When you run, obviously, one foot is up, then the other. You need your balance going on, otherwise you're going to be all over the place. So yoga will help with that. It's going to strengthen your feet, strengthen the muscles in your toes, and just really make your running a lot easier. Connor mentioned about posture, and that Katie does you like a postural analysis. Yoga is really going to help you with posture. We talk about opening out through the chest. We talk about engaging the core. And making sure that our core is engaged is going to keep your run smooth. It's going to make everything move more efficiently. You're going to become a faster runner. You're going to be a more efficient runner as well. And then I went through on Monday night when we had our class some breathing. So you would have heard me telling you to inhale and exhale in nice steady breaths. Now, breathing is obviously a key point in running. And we always say that in yoga, the poses themselves are actually just an afterthought. Breathing is actually one of the most important parts of a yoga practice. It's what helps you keep your mentality through hard poses. If you just concentrate on the breath, everything else kind of just falls into place. So that's the same with running. If you're running a long way, you need to make sure that your mental health is there. You need to make sure you're mentally in the zone, heading away. Keeping control of the breath is one of the ways you're going to get through that. It also is going to be increasing the lung capacity that you're using. So I read recently, and this is the amount of research that I've done into this, that actually runners inhale and exhale quite quickly, which can, disturb some of your movements. By making sure that we're using the lung capacity that you've got within your running, through your yoga practice, we can help you make sure that you run for longer, you run more efficiently. And it's just a really good way of stretching out all the muscles within the body, making sure that we kind of stay injury-free as well by various different internal rotations, external rotations of the body, making sure that everything is in alignment, ready for your run. So yeah, yoga is really fun. I find it helps my running, so hopefully you guys will as well, and hopefully we'll see you on a Monday night. Okay?
Thanks, Charlotte. Yeah, it looked like everyone was having a good time on Monday. So motivation, okay, this is a big one for beginners. We've talked about, struggling with running, because of things like breathing, you're trying to run and it's usually the lungs that cause the problems. If you're running too fast, your legs probably feel okay. It'll be your lungs that really start to make you huff and puff, and that can cause a lot of discomfort. And that's often what makes us think that we're no good. So we can stop our lungs from puffing so much by bringing some walks in and slowing down the run. Okay, our Couch to 5K can really help with that. But also, getting results from your training is very motivational. Okay, if you choose a group to run with and you stick with that group, so it could be the 6 group, one of our the slower Couch to 5K group. If you stick with that group, week after week, even if you're just coming once a week, but then you're doing maybe 1 or 2 runs or similar by yourself, you will find that your body will have to adapt, and it will adapt with the plan. So regardless, if you're in a running group, that group will get it'll be running at the same speed for longer, for 6 weeks, and then the time will come down and the speed will increase. Okay, so that's how we improve your fitness throughout the 12 weeks. Okay, so everyone's on a 12-week plan. If you stick with your group for the entire 12 weeks, you're going to go up a group. Okay, I can guarantee it. All right, you've got to keep yourself uninjured, and you've got to keep yourself motivated to keep showing up. Okay, now another big part to plan that is you guys showing up. Okay, you show up for each other, not just for yourself. Okay, if you're in a group and you're the only one there, that's not going to be very motivating, is it? Okay, you're not just doing this for yourself. All right, you're doing it for other people. So coming back time and time again is really important. The more runs you do with the club, the more you're going to help yourself, the more you're going to help other people. Okay, and you'll develop friendships through this. Okay, a lot of our members are now good friends. Some of them run together on the weekends. We look to organise a social event around about every 14 weeks, and it's good fun. It's great to be part of something bigger than just you and a friend or you by yourself. Okay, and in order for this to work for you, you need to really try and organise your life around it. Okay, a lot of people, they prioritize life and try and make their exercise fit around life. And okay, of course there are things in life that we have to do that for, children, work, but wherever possible we want to negotiate with our boss, our partners, our friends about how we can make it work. Okay, I'm not trying to throw you random different training sessions each week. They're at the same time every week. They change location 3 or 4 times a year to keep it interesting. Okay, but I'm not asking you to do things randomly. Okay, you can tell the important people in your life when you really want or need to be exercising, and they'll hopefully do their best to make it happen. Maybe you need to do something for them in return. So that's going to create habits, isn't it? Okay, we want to, 3 weeks generally it takes to create a habit. So the next 3 weeks are really important to you. The other thing that can help, okay, and a lot of beginners won't be thinking about this in the early days, but it is to look at entering an event. Okay, maybe it's a 5K in 12 weeks time. Okay, there are park runs here. It's a 5K running event every weekend, every Saturday. There's a park run here. You can run, walk, whatever, 5K. All right. In 12 weeks time, that could be an event that unfortunately you don't really have to sign up to parkrun. You can get your barcode and stuff, but you can put it in your diary, maybe make a deal with a friend that in 12 weeks time you're going to aim to run 5K at parkrun. You might want to look a bit more ambitiously towards a 10K, and there's no reason why you can't be doing that in 12 weeks either. You might not run the entire 10K, but you go along and you do it, and you run what you can. Hopefully by then you'll have a pretty good idea of how long you can run for without stopping, and you might put a strategy together or talk to me about a plan of how you're going to run as much of that as possible, but you're going to plan to have some walking periods within that 10K. We've got a bunch of our beginners from January and a few from May who have entered the Cheltenham Half Marathon. Some of those people weren't even running 5K when they entered the Cheltenham Half Marathon. Okay, they may not run the entire Cheltenham Half Marathon, but they're going to do it, all right? And they're going to run as much of it as they can, and they'll know what sort of pace they can do for the distance, and they'll know not to go too fast, otherwise it's going to hurt a lot more than they want it to on the day and for the few days afterwards. So I've mentioned quickly energy levels. Look, we have a nutritional therapist in the club. That's actually my wife, Georgina Graham. She has a clinic in Bishop's Cleeve. You'll answer a few questions and just talk about what sort of things could improve your energy levels throughout the day. How you identify yourself. Okay, a lot of people, first thing I say is when they fill out the form or when I meet them is I hate running, or I don't run, but for some reason they are coming to us and they want to run, or they want the benefits of running. Okay, if you identify yourself as someone who is trying to run or is trying to lose weight, then that's what you're going to be for a very long time. Okay, you need to change who you see yourself as, even if you have to fake it. Okay, if you have to fake it and tell yourself that you are actually a runner or you are a fit person, do it. Okay, if that's what's going to take you to make the right decision, at whatever it is, 6 p.m, 5:30 p.m, you've got home from work, you're knackered, you're thinking, I'm trying to run, but I just don't want to, not tonight. Okay, if there's a decision to be made and you don't identify yourself as a fit person or as a runner, you won't come. Okay, or maybe you'll come for 3 weeks and it'll start feeling like it's just getting too hard, and you'll stop coming, and then you'll start telling yourself that you've fallen off the wagon and it's going to be too hard to get back into it. This is what happens to people. Okay, I've been personal training for over 13 years now. I've worked with a lot of people who are looking to lose weight and get fit. The people that succeed are those that change their mindset, change their self, basically their entity, who they are. Okay, so you can change that today if you want to. Look for opportunities to exercise. Okay, don't just think, right, I've got to come to these times. All right, a lot of people are using pedometers. Fitbit. Look for opportunities to exercise. If you get in the Fitbit craze, you'll be constantly trying to find reasons to do stuff, to get off the couch. And look, inspire people. Okay, a lot of you have come here because someone suggested it. Maybe you've got someone who was a beginner with the club and they have inspired you. You're seeing how much happier they are with themselves as a person. Maybe you've seen them lose some weight. They've inspired you, and you can do the same for other people. All right, and the more you inspire other people, the more you'll feel inspirational, like you are achieving things, and that you are who you want to be. Okay, so someone who's done that is Carolyn. she might not admit it yet, but Carolyn started in our January beginners group, and she is doing the Cheltenham Half Marathon in a couple of months. So she's going to say a few words.
My name's Carolyn. I started with Cheltenham Running Club back in January, and I was mainly attracted to it because they were offering the Couch to 5K. At that time I was doing absolutely no exercise. I was obese, I was so unfit, and I just got to the point, just such a low ebb, and I just thought, I've got to pick myself up and do something positive for myself. Nobody's going to do it for me. I saw an article in the Echo about the running club, and I thought, okay, right, I'll give it a go. I've just got to try something. Done very little exercise before, so I really was very unfit. Very nervous coming along for my first time, but everybody in the club has just been so great. It's just been brilliant from the start. Found myself with my sixth group, which was the speed I was at that point, and the support has just been incredible from everybody. It was really hard to start with. I was struggling to run for 30 seconds and I was just gasping for breath and thought, oh no, I've got to stop. but you know, we all stuck at it together. We motivated, encouraged each other, and you know, we got there. You know, before we knew it, we were running 10 minutes without stopping. I thought, wow, I really can do this. And then it was 20 minutes. And then by the end of the first 13-week cycle, I did my first 5K run. It was on a horrible night. The weather was horrendous. It was torrential rain, puddles everywhere. But it felt great. You know, we kept to our pace, nice slow pace, dodging the puddles all the way around. And before I knew it, we were back and I'd done my first 5K, and it just felt amazing. And yeah, since then, I've done the Cheltenham Challenge, and yeah, doing the half marathon next month. So excited about it now. I ran 14K for the first time last weekend. Got to do 16 this weekend, and it's going to be good. The support the club give you to do that is great, because you know, Connor tells you where you need to go. He's got your route all laid out, which is going to be part of the route you'll be running, so that becomes familiar and that helps. And he tells you the pace you're going to be doing it at, so you don't go too fast, and you build up trust in the people with the club. And I know if Connor says I can do it at a certain pace and I can run that distance, I know I can do that. You know, I trust them, and Katie the physio, and just everybody. It's just great. It's been really good experience. It has been life-changing for me. Thanks very much for listening.
Just in summary, guys, you know, I think your challenge, everyone's challenge is to learn to love running, okay? It's not learning to lose weight or just learning to run faster. Okay, we have to learn to love running and everything that goes with running. Okay, so whether that be, you know, the new friends that you make, or just going out and realizing that you can run a lot further than you think you can if you get your pace right. So look, make friends, prevent injuries. Okay, learn everything you can. Get on our blog, watch videos, read, you know, what we have on there. The more you learn about running, the more you're going to invest in it, and the more you're going to succeed. Okay, you know, become an athlete. Okay, identify yourself as an athlete, and it won't be long before you are. I know some of our guys probably still don't, they're smirking now, but you know, they're training 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. You know, what makes an athlete? You know, they're dedicated, they're motivated, and they're progressing. Okay, so in my eyes, all of our members are athletes. And look, last of all, I've said it before, but you know, aim to inspire people. Okay, you know, post your stuff on Facebook, tell your friends in person, talk to people about, you know, this new thing that you're into, and if you're excited about it, then they'll see it on your face. Okay, and they might just start thinking, well, I want some of that.